It will. Okay, started recording. Okay, hello. This is Divine Sunshine. This is take two, and this is April Williams. This is Wade, and then we have Kathy D right here. Okay. Let me see. I can even switch. Can I do that? I think we already did that one time. There we go.
Oh, there we are.
All right.
Oh, I got the bottom one.
You got the bottom this time. You got the bottom. Okay, and so today's topic is karmics. Okay, and so now what we are doing is talking about karmic relationships. So we talked about other one on the live, but they removed it before. However, we're talking about different karmics and how the purpose of what they serve as far as that. So we always know that when we're talking about karma serves a purpose as far as knowing that you have different uh destination. You have a destination that you want to go on. However, karma comes along, and to us, we always say karma is bad. It messes us up. Karma can be a B. All those different kind of things. But we understanding that really karma serves a much larger purpose for what's actually happening. Karma helps us to be able to, if we're going the wrong way, it helps us to be able to detour and to get us on the right path. And that is really what karma serves a purpose for. And it doesn't matter, it comes the good karma or the bad karma. All of those things help us to get to our being a sovereign being, help us to be divine. And we're talking about having this conversation today is because we have all different kinds of aspects of karmic relationships. Rather it's a person, place, or thing, rather it's dealing actually with a person, or it's a situation, family situation that we're in. It comes in various forms and shapes and matter. I don't know why that came to me as well. So I'm going to kind of let each person, April, kind of where she's going. So I'm going to let Kathy down here give her own perspective as to what is karmic, what is the purpose of a karmic relationship for her, because I've said that on my show several times, that they help us to learn the way. That's the purpose of a karmic relationship. So what is your purpose? What do you think that karmics, what is a karmic relationship to you, and what does it serve? What's its purpose?
Well, in the beginning of all this, the karmic relationship was a pain in the behind. But as I've gone on and through the journey, I realized that if you want to look at it a certain way, it's that they're teaching the DM the lessons he needs to learn. So you're not getting a broken other half. Because if you do, you're just going to keep that cycle just keeps going and going. So their job is really to train them. But on the other hand, for those of us that are divine feminines that are in those kind of karmic relationships, it's our job then to make sure that our counterpart is trained, and then that releases. So a lot of people are, I'm just stuck in this relationship. No, you're not stuck. You've got more work to do. And so it puts a spin on it. It actually gives you, as the divine feminine, actually power in the situation. That when you step up and you've accepted this, we all joke about, we don't know how we wound up in the line for the twin flame thing, but we did. But we took this on, and this is our responsibility. And I think this is a big part of that unconditional love, because you have to be able to love your karmic as well as his karmic. She's there helping you, and you're there helping the next one. So karmics aren't as, I guess, bad as we originally thought, because of course everything is at the beginning always a karmic's fault. Well, if she wouldn't have, if she, would have done this, if instead of looking at ourselves saying, well, you played a major role in, especially if you're in a separation situation.
Mm-hmm. And that is true. A lot of times when we first start off, they're like the enemy of the state, or sleep, or our DMs or DF are sleeping with the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Rarely do we look at it from a point that once we start evolving and start really practicing being a light worker, or some of them say Christ-like, or practicing unconditional love, that we can come from that place of understanding that they all serve a purpose,
Hmm.
as far as helping us to understand who we are, and how it comes about. April, did you want to chime in and say what is a karmic relationship, and what do you think that its purpose is? It serves from your aspect.
I'm gonna write yes. Okay.
Okay,
I just want to stay on point, so I wrote it on notes. I love how,
okay,
but I'm trying to keep it together, keep it succinct.
okay, got
Okay. So a karmic relationship is something that is like Kathy B. It's a multifaceted experience where you are the karmic, they are the karmic, and it in the terms of both you and your mate, your twin, and you're both going through different sets of experience to evolve into your dharmic path, right? Because karma, as far as I understand karma, and I'm totally open to the expansion of this definition, but karma is just what you do. There's a consequence or an action or a reaction kind of a thing. And in order for us to get to be where we want to be in terms of our crystalline matrix, our being in this planet, our highest self here manifested on earth, to experience this, we get to go through a maturing process or a ripening process or a hardening process if you're thinking of yourself as like a diamond or a crystal or something like that, something that reflects light. And since us as twin flames, we're working in that body of light, we're working in that sense of being that fire, whatever energy it is, for our earth, right? Because our earth needs all the elements in order to be her truest, most divine province. And as a creature of earth or uh, a gift of earth, we need to learn a lesson. It all flows together. Sometimes we whine about that lesson. Sometimes we whine about that lesson. All I'm saying,
right.
but karma is. And so we then use that to become Dharma. So what do we learn in those relationships? Being those relationships to others and having patience for that, because the beauty of life is it is, the beauty of nature is it is, it becomes the art that we are. So that's what I think karma is and why it's necessary, because it creates art. And those relationships create us, the works of art, the divine flames, the twins.
Right. And so when we're talking about, right, that's true. Karma or karmic relationships all serve a purpose. And like I just to reiterate, we've all have been a hard teacher from someone in every different aspect of life, whether it's a person, place, or thing, on the job, or whatever. We have always have been, we have acted in some kind of way where we've taught a lesson to someone else, and we have also have been karmic in some ways, even as divine. I know a lot of times that is a kind of controversial thing, but all those things that we learned, those teachers always, we have that teacher that's very hard, and they help you to excel. You remember that teacher, you'll never forget that teacher, and you remember you not don't want to repeat that daggone lesson again with that teacher ever again once you get it. And so that's pretty much what the job to me when I think of karmics is that sometimes they're those hard towers, sometimes they come to form aha moments as well. And so when we're saying about the karmic relationships, we know that they do serve a purpose. I've seen also when I talk to a lot of clients, that's one reason why I want to bring this to our audiences and to the twin flame community. A lot of times when they do that, it throws off the divine off of center when these karmics come into the relationship and to on board. And it's kind of hard for them to understand when these things are going on. What are some things that they can be doing or techniques that will kind of help them to kind of stay I say stay the course, understand what actually their role is as far as being in the divine journey. So I'm just want to see about like what is it as far as Kathy D. I mean, what can they do? Because I get a lot of clients. It's like I feel tired, I feel drained. I don't want to continue on this journey, but what are some things that they could actually do in order to say, okay, stay uplifted, stay in the journey, but they just feel overpowered. I mean, just overwhelmed. I can just hear it when I try to encourage them. So, what are some things that they maybe could do?
And and there are a lot of different things that they could do, and we've all been there. By no means is anybody alone on this. It could be, it might have been a couple months or a couple weeks, but we've all been there, and we repeat back going there thinking this is, so hard. I just can't do it anymore. It all boils down to kind of like the whole journey, which is you've got to get back to self-love.
Yes.
You've got to get back to that self-love. You've got to get back to loving yourself so somebody else can love you.
Mm-hmm.
You also have to understand that, we all grew up with that, they call it the Disney mentality, where the knight rides in on the white horse and sweeps us and takes all our cares away and we're fine. And so many of us, guilty as charged on this one, waiting for the DM to come in and, fix things and just sweep me away and everything was going to be wonderful. And that's not how it worked. I
Yeah.
had to learn to save myself. I had to be my own knight in shining armor.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where some of that balance comes in. Divine masculine, you're learning to do that. And when you take the time to self-love, it can be, a bubble bath. It can be meditation. It could be journaling. It could be reading. It could be, listening to music. I know when I worked with April, it was, dancing and just moving your body. And it sounds crazy and you're like, I don't think so, until, you just do it. And now it's become
Are you
like
saying I sound crazy?
no, I thought it was
No,
I thought it was things like, I'm not just dancing around. No, that's not happening. But I got my girls involved with it. So now it's like dance break and oh, mommy's doing the crazy
oh,
dance again.
beautiful.
So,
And
but
it's so freeing to the body. Oh, yay.
it's self-love. You've got to go back to that self-love. You've got to quit blaming everybody else. And you have to remember in this journey that when you blame them, you blame you. And that has become, especially in this, time when we have a lot of time to sit and think, um, you have to really take that into account and think about the things that you said. Oh, why won't he just move? And then, please look around your situation. Now you know why he just won't move. Um, so we've got to really build ourselves up to that, you know, divine feminine that we're meant to be, because we lead it. And until we go into that self-love, taking care of us, we should walk by, it doesn't matter, any reflective surface, and be able to look in there and be like, hey, you're looking good today. Whatever you should see that in yourself. You should not be one of those people that when you get out of the shower, you grab a towel, wrap it around you real quick, because the thought of seeing yourself naked should never be a bad thing. That's your body. That's who you are. And the more you accept these things and come into this self-love and come into that kind of femininity of you and being proud of who you are and the roles and the scars and whatever you have,
Mm-hmm.
and loving them, that's when you get love. That's when the whole picture comes together. Because at that point, that's when you surrender the divine masculine and you're like, if he comes, great, that would be fantastic. I would love that. But if he doesn't, I know I'm going to be okay. And that's the thing at that point. And that's where that karmic lesson comes in, to allow them to do their work while you're doing your work.
Right, and that is the major point, is understanding that you need to take the focus off of the divine masculine and more so turn it and start focusing on self. I think I seen it on somebody's one of the readings on YouTube, and the young lady was talking about, she was noticing when she looked at the karmic, that the karmic had on her Facebook profile the DMs picture as her profile on everything. It was like it was trying to make sure that she validated herself, that that that's mine, that's my DM, those things. And in some ways, I've said this before, with the karmics, they are also reflecting back to us the things that we have to work on too. Because again, if your divine masculine, and I know this is wild, but if the divine masculine is attracting this karmic, and like attracts like, and in some ways you are in some ways reflecting something that's going on with the divine masculine as well, because you are kind of semi mirroring each other. That means all three of you all in that triangle with that energy have to learn how to practice self-love. You're showing it in different various ways, but there's still that connection on that triangle as to what is that energy of that glue that's keeping both of you all like planets orbiting around each other.
And then you add another triangle in there if you're also in a situation and they're in a situation.
Mm-hmm.
And now you got more people than you can stand, trying to figure out, because my karmic's feeling, bad energy from the DM, and and it's like a spider web.
Right, it is. It is like a spider web, or I call it like a hub, or like a spoke, and it just peeling out from that point on, as well. I seen you was nodding your head too, April, about some things. What were you catching? I seen it like you like, ooh, I got our house.
They're so rapid. Too many downloads. So as we flow in this experience, right? Because I keep talking about the flow of it, because that's how the nature of us being mostly water is on this planet, right? And we start to feel each other's vibrations, and we have to come to a still point if we want to be in power. How do you do a still point with a ding? Hello. Okay. Okay. But also be willing to know that everything is a working prayer. And that's why we ebb and flow between all those emotions. That's why we get to have the experience of this, so that, and that's part of the whole self-love, self-care, self-forgiveness, the whole protocol, in terms of loving ourselves so much that it then, and that be our center, that everything vibrates off of that. And I think about it because I'm totally obsessed with like Jesus, like Christ is my man, Jesus is my homeboy. And I've studied a lot of the esoteric teachings and stuff like that, and us becoming that energy where we are so full of love that we are true brothers and sisters in Christ, and that Christos, that energy, that vibration, that we can allow the karmic to be it in us or in them.
Mm-hmm.
And like you're saying, it comes into alignment, and we all are allowed to heal and evolve and flow. And that flow leads back to each other. And
Right.
that's what we are working towards allowing that, right? Because there's even resistance within us. Because when we resist them and their experience, and we push whatever our concept or belief about what it shoulda, coulda, woulda,
Mm-hmm.
it is.
True.
Right?
True.
So just that is changes. That energy flows through, and it becomes something new. And that's why I'm so insistent on the body, the energy embodiment of our goddess, of our God, of our highest self, of our that. it's an interesting vibration to hold, because we see it requires so much fortitude, especially in terms of this experience, right? Like how much you've actually had to put through to even get us here right now.
Right. Right. Yes.
And it's all so that we can all share a type of consciousness, so we can all release what we feel our attachments are to this karmic situation and them, and realize they are holy just as we are holy. We are all that aspect of, to learn how to be more Christ-like.
Right. And that's true. The understanding that we all coming with a purpose. I'm getting like a fork in the road and say, and it might even evolve to a point that the karmic, or I had brought that up before, that they keep bringing to me is like the percentage. Either all three of us is going to walk away change for the better, or it's one of us is going to decide to stay the same, but still that's a choice. In that they bring that to me, all three of us. So it could be the positive, or one of them say I'm just not ready, but that's going to cause that breakaway from that, because again, that frequency again of like attracting like. So it could be, God forbid, but we don't want that. One of them could say, I'm gonna keep on being divine, and the other one say, I'm gonna keep on doing that entanglement of that energies and staying with that.
Hey, Millie Rock, throw it out.
Right.
Throw it out. Throw it out. Throw it out. Throw it out. Yeah.
Or you might get some of them that might say, no, we're both going to be divine. And that's going to cause for that karma to say, okay, nah, that ain't my stick. That ain't my groove. I'm going to have to kind of float away. I'm sorry, because I kind of like this karmic energy that I'm in right now. It feels good to me. It feels good. So that's one way of looking at it. But they keep on bringing that to me. Hopefully we would like that all three of them just like, okay, I learned my lesson and go on. Like even with my situation in the karmic situation, I seen all of them still. I see her partner, who her divine partner is, and I've had clients tell me I've seen the karmic and who they're supposed to rightfully be with. The thing is them to understand, to let go of the current situation and say it's something better for you. I mean, honestly, I've seen hers. I mean, he's nice looking, nice eyes, beautiful smile. And I keep on telling her to please go towards the light. Go towards
So
the
then let
that.
some of us, because I'm going to say I'm just having an epiphany right now. I
Okay.
never gave myself permission to give that gift to her. You know what I mean? To read
Oh,
into that, to allow her to feel the love that you know you rightly and will reserve and real deserve. You've got it. You know what I mean? It's just
right.
the time thing. It's the time linear, blah blah blah. But you feel it. You already know it. You're resonating it. You're wearing that union already. We're already wearing the union. It's a
Right.
matter of coming into alignment and then giving them the space that, what if I saw her into alignment? What if I saw her in her highest vibration in combination with her love? What if I send that vibration for her? And
Right.
you've seen it. You allowed yourself to see it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Some of us were just like, whatever. I see her on the street, but it's not even like that. It's not even
Now
like
you're
that.
speaking fluent karmic right now. You're speaking fluent karmic. Let's do that now.
So Christ-like. No, but just giving that to her, giving her that space allows you to have it and receive it. Because I feel that there is some resistance in some of the people who are ready to come into union. They're resisting because they are used to that as being a known, right? They want to resist others. They think if they wish the karmic happiness, they think that she's going to find happiness with your twin. And that's not how it works.
No.
Right.
You've got to send them love, and you've got to send them gratitude, because if you look at it, while the DM is learning, while he's healing, while he's becoming whole and the man you need him to be, your other half, that's kind of her job. So she's kind of taking care of the nursery.
True.
So you need to send her, and as hard as it is, I have heard, from other people that they just have some real, zingers they got to deal with. And that's where you have to be the bigger person. And like, you both were talking about, Christ consciousness, and the greatest of these is love. And
Right.
that really is a test of our unconditional love. To love, turn the other cheek, the whole night, really and truly, all of that comes to play with that karmic, because, they literally, at the beginning of all of this, we felt they destroyed our world.
Yes. I'm sorry. Oh my God. Let me grab a I felt that was so karmically, but yeah, I'm just telling myself. I did at the beginning. I did.
Well, but we learned from it. We learned from it.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, and
I'm proud of us.
Evolved to get to that point. It's like
It does. It takes a long time, and it takes a long loving yourself and loving yourself through those wounds, and where they all come from, and just from the dark night when you're laying face down on the floor and hoping to be engulfed by carpet, or are you feeling great and have really high energy. It's just, you go through it, and you just have to just love through it all. Love yourself, and definitely give gratitude when you list things you're grateful for every day. As I go through my list, I do, I list her, because I wouldn't want to have to deal with that hot mess. I know.
You're right. And it is that, and they're the ones who is signed up for that, because they're taking all of that stuff what they're trying to learn and get all that gulk out of it, and they're taking the blows of, I call them the crash test dummies. Sometimes it's just like I'm taking a ride and just really trying to see how can I become divine in the process, and they're the ones that they're taking along for the ride, and they're making the hard breaks or whatever it is that they're going on, and they're trying it out to see about how they're going to really successfully drive this vehicle of being divine. And so that's pretty much a thing, and like I said, I know with me and my experience, I went on ahead and sent them. I was like, on both of them, the catalyst and my divine master, I was like, go ahead, I want you to get that, like, really out your system. Go out your system, because when you come over here, it won't be any what you all said, no what ifs, maybes, it could have been, well, I don't want to hear none of that. When you come over this way, I want all that to be out your system, so then when you come over here, I definitely know rightfully that what, this was your choice and you tried it, you got it out your system, and you shouldn't want to go back to that at all. And that's pretty much the overall objective, that these karmic situations should end that way. They still bring me a fork in the road, that some of them that still, might not completely kind of want to turn around like Lot's wife and kind of look and say, okay, well, you're going to get burnt up, because I told you don't turn around back to the karmic situation. So that's it. But my thing is that just really trying to understand that their purpose, everything serves a purpose, like you said, and this understanding that while they're over there, it is time. At that time, I know a lot of the clients, and they tell me this, is it's just hard for them to say, just to release. That releasing part is very hard, because you're releasing into the unknown. You don't know what's going to happen next. And and you keep on trying to tell, I know clients and even myself, it's time for you to kind of focus in on yourself, focus on yourself, not with them. And we have to remember, just like the karmics are making the DMs the center of their world, we're also making the divine masculine the centers of our worlds too, in our own ways. And we have to learn that our divine masculine, they brought it to me one day, he's just an additive to life. He's just the icing to the cake. He's not the whole cake. You're still good without that. you know, and he's just a cherry on top. Maybe you're the cake and the icing, and he's just a cherry that makes it just look pretty. And the sprinkles. That's it. I'm still a cake without the sprinkles and without the cherry on top. I'm still functioning, you know, and we have to get to that point to understand that codependency that comes out of being with the divine. I can make it. That trust that we have to work with as far as them being in those karmic situations. Those are to me like the underlying issues that we've got to work with within ourselves, and the self-love that we've got to really work on while they're over there doing their thing on that one. April, did you want to chime in something else?
Yes, good. They're like good on guides, huh? They're there's some ancestral stuff that's popping up for both
Yes.
you and them and the karmics. There's stuff that's out processing, and we're playing these storylines that are now being rewritten and remolding into each other, and we
Yes.
can actually direct them. And by us holding in this higher flow of the consciousness, we're able to release that which no longer serves us or our family line, or you know, things that just kind of get to be purged out at this point. And it's happening on a global scale. We're doing a global cleanup, more or less. There are some major things that we also need to not neglect, but we're starting to focus on in what I think could be a more positive way, which is the body. So we're looking at the body, instead of it being a dirty, diseased thing, it's actually a very clean and wondrous thing that allows you to reach your highest heights in this experience, right? Because we're only on this earth plane for so many of our physical body, but then there's so much of the energetic body, and that goes on throughout space and time and dimensions and so on and so forth. So just remembering that it's much bigger than this moment when you get that stuck, that frustration.
Yes.
And then take a deep breath.
And that's really important.
Yeah. Right.
And allow the clarity to come. Allow each body to start to cleanse. Even if it's before cleansing, awaken, right? Because you need to sense it. If you're here at this time, then you obviously think that there's more than just the physical body and what's happening in the political state. Right? There's so much within and without. And what's most out of harmony, aside from person to person and culture to culture relationships, is our relationship with the earth. And as we associate with her too, right? Because she's a goddess.
Right.
She's the mother of our humanity. And God is the father of our humanity, right? You know, we have these proverbial, but then, you know, they go back and forth, right? There's God is no real spectrum of sexuality. But I'm getting a little bit off topic because we're going back to karma.
Right? Come back.
The rabbit hole. The rabbit hole. Karma. So if you like learn to flow and learn to like just enjoy the moments and play around and have like your Bill and Ted accent ready at any moment, you will you'll be able to see that karma ain't no thing. But what's true is our dharma. So how do we reach that the best? What is life really trying to tell us on so many different levels? Especially when we're getting our synchronicities and all these other things popping in and coming, you know, it's getting really interesting right now. So how do we deal with karma in a day-to-day, moment-to-moment piece? We embody it. Right? I've been learning a lot about light body integration. And one of the things we can do is we keep flowing. We allow for movement. So if you're feeling stuck, just move, period. Just flow. I'm using a ball now instead of a chair so that I'm always in motion. I always am allowed myself to be free. And when I'm stiff, I feel it. You can feel pain. You can feel all kinds of different sensations of stuckness. And when you allow for that flow, you're given the gift, you're giving yourself the gift of freedom of breath, freedom of thought. And if you're holding your breath, that's another thing too, right? You watch and see if you're holding your breath or if you're being stiff. And that's how you're doing if you're allowing in your twin or if you're pushing to create more karma. Because I think the twin experience might actually be a dharmic experience, right? Because then you transcend. And I'm just happy that they are. I think she's gonna log back. I think she's gonna log back in. She looked frozen for a second.
Okay.
But like you don't want to push so much as flow. But then of course there's times when you have to resist in order to progress, right? That's how you shape your existence as and getting to your dharma, right? Because you fit together. You fit together as a specific groove, you and your mate.
Right.
You
like
fit.
puzzle pieces.
And the only way you they're chiseling off the pieces for you.
Right. So it can really actually fit.
Exactly.
Right.
Oh, the way we fit.
Oh, no. Wait a second. Now we don't want to skip again.
Bring out them McNasty cards.
There
I got some ideas.
What that mean by fit? Okay, no, we don't win. Nah, that's not what we talk about. That's not what we talk about. You brought up a very good point there. I'm trying to retract it back. What we said. Oh, there go Kathy. She's back. Okay, let me.
I get knocked offline and I miss all the good stuff. I come back in, you guys are talking about the McNasty cards.
That's right.
No fair.
I got a little McNasty. I was talking about how the masculine and the divine masculine and the divine feminine, they flow together and they get chiseled to fit each other. And then we were talking about fitting.
Yes, the fits. Especially yes. But yeah. Let me handle this subject and I'll throw it out to you all too. What about some of the ones that say that they seem like the karmics are, and I've seen that, and you've seen that too in the comment section, a lot of them saying that they're the karmic is putting them in bodily harm. What's going on with that? You've seen that some of them say they're attacking them or doing things that's nasty to the divine feminine or the divine masculine. What's going on? What's your take on that? April looks like she's in shock. Like what? What happened to the divinity?
Not my favorite.
Boo! Don't take. Wait a second. It's over with.
Listen, don't get me.
That's for my man. Let me tell you. But it's either that or they're doing some type of form of manipulation or things of that nature. So it's just like, I know I've heard Jupiter 11. She said on her last one, 11, and she was talking about people doing magical things. I'll just put it that way. And so my thing is, it's like, how can you tell a person that they don't have that kind of control or mind manipulation or because they're in that karmic situation? I mean, what would be your advice that you would tell a person with that? Because to me, that seems like for Kathy D, that's like more of a mental thing of mind over matter, that understanding that it just happened to be that those things are coming together, and it seems like you might have bad luck, or like Teddy P say, bad luck. That's what you got. It could be that, and you keep on saying, well, the karmic sent that vibration to me, or they did this to me. I mean, what can you do in those situations? I guess I'm asking a two-part thing, like the black magic that somebody's sending, or what else as far as like physical harm, like they're doing things, they got people coming to beat them up or things like that. So what can you do?
I've done actually a lot of cleansing on myself, spiritual cleansing for myself and my ancestors. I do yoni steaming as well, and I promote women's health that way, us empowering ourselves to take our health back. And there's a lot of deep DNA and ancestral stuff and deep past life cleansings that can be done that way, because you're now equating with your divine feminine part that is allowing you to reawaken a voice inside of you that you have been convinced it doesn't exist, that some man in a hospital knows, or I'm saying man, but it used to be primarily male, but in an industry made to disconnect you from your body. And as you reawaken this connection, you're given a new, more powerful, deeper voice that knows how to cleanse itself, that knows how to heal itself, that is its own autonomy, And it is the epitome of creation as well. Because a lot of people are wandering around, bumping up against things, not realizing that they're creating with every breath that they take. And so there gets to become a balance that is created. Um, you can also look up ways to protect yourself. And the deal with ceremony is not only is it the intention and the alchemical combination, but it's also the concept and the prayer that you are putting forth. The concept and the prayer. I'm talking to the people. Well, come hug me then. Come here. So there's concept and creation, and in order to actually have that block, sometimes you need the ritual and you need the ceremony. And so by coming into yourself daily, whether you're waking up and saying your list of things you're grateful for, you've got to start somewhere where you're enforcing your protection, your mental protection, and
Right.
heart protection. Mm-hmm. And then the spiritual starts to come in the flow of how you're living your life. You also can, there's a lot of different things that you can do to kind of cleanse your area. Like I make a clearing, a really nice grounding clearing salt that really helps. You can also do salt baths. There's all kinds of things that can be done to cleanse. It's a matter of, do you believe you're cleansed, or do you want to accept the victimization of you having somebody else do something at you? And that might be something that we have heard or learned in previous, but right now it's a whole nother ball game. You get to take your power back.
Yes.
I loved when you were talking about your sovereignty and taking your individual back. But by taking that individual, you're then honing in and attracting that magnet, that mate, that twin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. And I think even if those things that you're doing, let me watch out turn my mouth and what I'm saying. Those things are just a physical, tangible confirmation that solidifies that you are protected. So you're taking the salt bath. That's just nothing but you just solidifying and doing a practice. So I always talk about the spiritual and physical. You doing those things. Sage. It's like you programming yourself physically. I'm sage. I'm smudging the place. I'm protected. Those things, it's your mind. It's not mind. Well, yeah, it's kind of mind over matter, but you're programming yourself to understand that while you're doing that. Then eventually, my thing is, I don't want. Okay, just say it. I don't want to get to the point that like, oh my God, I ran out of sage. Now what's going to happen to my protection? I ain't got no sage to smudge.
Okay, I hear you.
You see what I'm saying? At the same time, that's fine, and I'm not knocking what you're saying, but I know with me, and I know I can say with my mom, she had. I know like at the time I used to wear like a whole bunch of bracelets, and then if they'll break, I'd be like, oh my God, my harmony is broken. And then at the same time, it's like, okay, well, you know what? It serves its purpose. The harmony necklace is gone. And so that must mean to myself, I must now have embodied harmony. I don't need that symbolism anymore about that or the protection thing. So I'm not knocking what you're saying, but I want somebody to like, if they don't have the salt or if I don't have that, oh my God, my world is stopped. And I don't want, like, I think about my mom. She's so symbolism thing that you got to understand it's beyond that. It's just nothing but a trigger just to remind yourself, I am protected. If I don't have it, I can just say real quietly, I am protected. So my thing is, it's a mindset thing. So I'm with you.
Sometimes I literally just watched a thing last night that said there's a couple different ways to affirmation wise what you're saying with the I am. If you are super, I got you. If you are super on unaligned with I am, you will meet a resistance. So you can do that if you have done the work, right? You're
Right.
doing the ceremony to get yourself to the mental state of holding the prayer. Now, what you can say is, how am I so, or or why, man, or how am I so protected? How am I so protected? And then you start to pick up, and it wants to verify. Your ego wants to verify. Your subconscious wants to verify. Yes, I am protected, because the phrasing of how am I so protected? Oh, well, I've got a wonderful place to live. I've got a really caring
Right.
manager. I've got, like, you start to define what makes you embodied, what makes you protected, what makes you wealthy, what makes you feel grateful. What makes you in love, makes you know that you're in I couldn't even think of the word, in union.
Yeah. Wait a second.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm in union with my what?
Right.
How am I in such a blissful union with my twin? How am I in such a wonderful way of evolving? And then you get to the point of I am in union. I am protected. Then you can get there. Yeah. So there's like there's a whole the veil.
Your camera's flipping. I'm getting kicked off. I don't know.
Yeah, that's all
But
right.
you look cute though. Hey.
Yes. So, Kathy, do you want to chime in? I mean, that I guess we handle more so the black magic thing, but yeah, how?
Yeah,
we black man.
But hoodoo with the hoodoo on me.
Well, I think the one thing that, as April, talked about with the I am statement to swallow, especially when you first come. Hello?
Yeah, you keep on cutting out that cat. I can tell Cat got some
Are we good?
stuff. They just really trying to interfere with her. She got some good stuff.
Give me just a second. Oh, wait. Yeah, you seem good.
Okay, go on.
Okay. When you first start with that I am statement, it's really hard to believe it. I am, I am meant for this relationship. When I started this as a life coach, and to get it through my head, I am a life coach and I help people, was real hard to understand, and to shut the ego up on it and not say, no, you're not. Look at this. But so the phrase I started out with was, I'm so happy and grateful. Jake Ducey, I'm so happy and grateful. And then you fill it in.
Okay.
I'm so happy and grateful my children are healthy. I'm so happy and grateful I have an opportunity to help people. I'm so happy and grateful I'm a life coach. It has less resistance than that strong. Then as you move through it, you upgrade it. You kind of amp it up a little bit, and you get, because you believe that, now you're going to, go to the next thing. But talking about the whole black magic and, the harm to the divine feminines, the divine masculines, in whatever situation. And once we've gotten far enough along in this journey, and Divine Sunshine and I both know this, you pick up things from the DMs, so you've got those. Don't ever doubt that. You've really got to learn to trust your intuition. And that's where you go in, and when you're in meditation and you're taking that time, you call in the powers that be, like you say, and I have a list of them, and but you call in your angels, or whoever you call in, and you ask for that protection. And it's very similar to what April's talking about. It's that reminder, it's that trigger that we are protected. We are in a divine union. We are divine beings. We signed up for this rodeo. I'm still wanting to know what they were giving away to get me in line to begin with, but it had to be something good. I'm blaming, and on this one, I will blame the DM. Yeah, on this one, I'm blaming the DM. It had to be his idea. So, but
you say, yeah, I'll take it.
oh, this looks like fun. Okay, but uh, we have to get into that mindset. And, like I said earlier, the greatest of these is love. They are protected by divine love. And when you love yourself and you're not being, I don't care about him, I hope he never comes back, I hate him, well, or, all this stuff, when you're opening up the negativity for those things to happen to them. But when you go to that state of love and you send love to the karmic and you send love to him, no matter what has happened, and you love yourself, we raise that love. That's the thing. And we can do it through journaling, through writing letters to the DM. Write a letter to the karmic. You never have to send it, burn it. It could be one of those things like, yo, chick, you got the last name that I wanted, whatever, you got my man. Go through the whole thing, but then by the end of it, don't leave it mad. Leave it to, and I want to thank you for helping heal him. I want to thank you for me not having to deal with that. I want to thank you for, I am so grateful. And I want to send you, love and light, that you're going to find the man of your dreams that's going to make you beyond happy, that you won't even realize how unhappy you were until you find this new amazing person made just for you. And as you write that, and here's a really strong point, because people talk about writing these things and then burning it and then, okay, it's gone. That's not the way our mind works. When it comes back again, no, she did. I can't believe she posted that, or whatever you've seen or heard. You then sit down and write it again. And what's going to happen is your brain and your hand are going to get tired of writing the same things over and over again. And you're finally just going to say, either I forgive you, I release, or, God, angels, powers that be, take this because I can't deal with this anymore. That's how you get to the point of release. You can't, it's not a one-time fix. None of this is.
I would like to add that you want to see where you're holding that in your body, because your body will tell you where you're holding it, and it'll get stiff. It'll lock up. It might stop breathing. It might breathe shallowly, You want to recalibrate yourself as well. Like, just take a breath, move your body, do like a big plie or something. Open yourself up, just wiggle like a wave and say, I release that. Where am I holding it? And once you acknowledge where you're even holding it, everything starts to function and flow a little differently. And you start to catch the thoughts faster and faster, because we do rehearse things. We do, life we live in somewhat cycles, right? And so it does have a flow to it. It does have a natural, some order to it, but we can change how quickly we adjust by doing the different methods that apply to you, that work for your mind and your body and your spirit to function in a place of safety, in a place of security, that allows you to then attract you, right? You attract you to yourself. You attract your highest self to you in this body, in this time, your flow, and then you attract your other. And it might go back and forth like a DNA helix for a hot minute, feeling like forever. But we get to that point where we can come into union because we know ourselves, and we also know our boundaries, and boundaries are important in that sense.
Yeah, and it's definitely a mind over matter situation, because we've had so much, negativity or negative programming, especially if you've had abandonment issues, things like that. You've been told you weren't good enough, or everybody always leaves me. So when this happens, that's really the final nail in the coffin. You can either say, oh, well, see, it always happens, and well, that's just the way it's going to be, and you just give up, or you use that mind over matter and you reform those things and you manifest these things. I have, the psychology, but I'll tell you, I'm a hippie at heart, because, you manifest and you meditate and you send positive thoughts and love, and you've got to send these things out. It's not just us talking. Until you truly love yourself, you're not getting anywhere. And I have seen it from my own journey. When I started to love myself, when I started to stand up for myself, that's when things changed.
Well, okay. I want to change the language a little bit. You are getting somewhere, just not where you
Well,
want to be.
Visibly, there we go. You're not seeing the visible changes. There we go.
We can do it. You know, it just takes a little bit more work than we originally anticipated.
Right.
Because I love that sentiment about what was there at the end. What was in that line? What were we waiting for? Why did I do this to myself again?
Yeah, right. And I'm so glad you.
Yeah, and that's when you,
Kathy, because that's what it was leading me to. I was like, the thinking, the negative thinking, you know, once you do all that and it just keeps on going over and over and over again, and they get that continuous loop of such negative thinking about themselves, about the situation. It's now I'm just like, how do you get out of that negative thinking about the situation, especially if they're looking on Facebook and they're looking at it, which I done told several times. I said, no, get out of that.
Stay off social media, especially theirs.
Yeah, and all they're doing is just perpetuating a lie. But you know, they still go over there and look and say that, and then you know you're by yourself, and especially with times like now, you don't have anybody to kind of talk to. So now your mind is in that continuous. I wonder what he's doing with her. I wonder are they happy with each other? Are they doing things? So that's another. That's just another.
That's vicious. That's what you know. Yeah. That's part of that self-love. Like, would you talk to your best friend like that? We've got to retrain ourselves. I spent a lot of work, and it came from something very simple. And I started with, well, it used to begin for me like I don't know, 12, 13 years ago. People in traffic, right? We don't have that so much anymore. But the example is traffic, right? You see someone in a hurry and they're in an aggressive mood, and it's just like, oh no, I'm just going to pray for them because they are in a dark place right now.
Oh.
And then I started with the, I stopped saying God damn, God, sorry, you know, I stopped saying God damn it, and I started saying God bless it.
Okay.
Why would we damn anything else? Why would we damn anything else? Because, you know, and that's, because we're here, and it allowed for a lightheartedness. Even it took a while for me to force myself to manually do it. Like you're saying, you're writing the journal, you're doing the work, you're doing the processing. And so just these little things allowed me to reprogram. And where did I learn that in the first place? And why did I learn that? And what did that help me do in this perspective of my life, right? And then it brought some clarity. And then I did it another way. Oh, everyone else is in the same, but we all are feeling similar emotions, and we need that support and love, you know? And you clear it that way. Even if it's because you're on quarantine, but you're both on your, what do they call it? Your necessity run. You just say, right. A nice dress you're wearing, ma'am, or those some nice pants, just to ease the tension of others allows you to ease the tension of yourself.
True.
So if we can bring ourselves out of ourselves and into the collective understanding, I think it'll help us form new mental patterns. We are now in a state, actually, as an entire society, where we have to restructure what life looks like. And what life looked like wasn't working and wasn't in flow. And here we are.
That's why we want to
screaming, new beginnings.
Tear some stuff up. Sometimes you got to destroy stuff, and then you start anew. That's right, nephew. That's what he said. I heard him. He told me you got to destroy things, tear stuff up, bang on some pots and pans, and create your own drum. I heard that. All in that. So as we wrap things up, I like to pull the cards because I like to do something tangible here. So the two cards that came out, and that's funny, April had talked about that too as well. What she's talking about is this way, is this one, right? We had friendship, where she's talking about the connections, making connections with others emotionally. And then it says dreams. Okay, so that's interesting. Now, when
my gosh, dreams, do you remember?
Right, they got dreams. This is dreams. Right. It's a continuation. And we have this one, friendship. So when we're talking about with dreams, I pick up as far as now with these times and talking about karmic relationships. The dreams are gonna be very prevalent as far as giving us a blueprint as to what's going on with the karmic situation. Some of us are getting a real eye opening. I know that even with myself about what's going on, but then also understanding that we've got to create this vision as to what do we actually see our twin flame relationship going. And that's what I actually see from this card here, because I see the purple card, which is representing what that's the crown chakra as well, and how we're able to really get those downloads and help us to really see and be relaxed in our comfort zone. So I see why they're saying about karmic thing is because a lot of times we get stuck on that loop and not seeing it any other way. All I just see is him and her. All I see is him, her and him, or whatever. That's this the cycle, and we don't really take time out to really envision and set that intentions as to where we want to be. And then also they say bring it off of them. I got a fork in the road, and then have those dreams and how we envision ourselves when we talk about self-love too. And that's another issue that we're having as far as when we see dreams. That's what I picked up. And then they have also, they tell us about these karmic situations, the friendships. I mean, how are we developing these connections? Like April had said, how are we connecting with ourselves? How are we connecting with our divine counterpart? And how are we able to connect with the world? Because this looks like this is outside of ourselves, the world, and just us two, our divine masculine and divine feminine energies within emotionally. When I see all of this water here in our emotions and how we again, like she said, going with the flow of things and the ebb and flows thing. So those are the two cards that they said that I was guided by my spirit guides, and spirit team said this is how they want us to start working with. These are the two keys that they would like us to start working on when we're talking about the karmic relationship. So what do you see, Kathy D, with the dream?
Well, with the dreams, it definitely is keep a dream journal, especially we don't remember very much of our dreams, and
True.
it might sound crazy, but there's symbolism in there.
Right.
And when you go back and you reread them, then you're like, oh, now I get it. Oh, okay, yeah, now I get it. Um, and then dreams, putting intentions out before we go to sleep that you're going to remember your dreams, or asking your guides for guidance as you go to sleep.
That's
To
good.
say, I need clarity here, or show me where I need clarity. What am I missing?
True.
And then definitely, write those dreams down the minute you wake up. Have it right by your bed. It doesn't matter what time you wake up, and you scribble that down. On the friendship one, we're not telling you to run out and be, BFFs with the karmic. Okay, that's not going to happen.
Oh, cut her! Oh, cut her! No,
For when we're talking about when we're talking about self-love, you have to look at the fact of would you be a friend with yourself? When you look at how you act and how you talk to yourself and stuff, would you be your own friend?
That's a good one.
And then the other thing is too, I think one of the, as you progress in this, for those that are new on this journey right now, you seem very alone and you seem very lost, but I guarantee you are going to, you'll find your tribe, you'll find your soul sisters, and you will connect with them. And those are the people that you can, and I have to both of these lovely ladies, I have sent emails and said, I just had a massive download. What do you think?
Right.
I have my true soul sister who, I love dearly. And I have been having trouble with the whole cleaning and purging thing. I just shut down. I couldn't do it anymore. And I would have never let anyone in my house to see it in a disaster. I thanked her, and she came in and like scrubbed a bathroom for me. But that's the motivation it took. But because we're on that same path, the energy just raised in the whole entire house. Everything just seemed so easy to do. You've got to build those friendships. One, you've got to be able to be a friend to yourself and stop saying horrible things to yourself that other people have told you about you, because you don't believe those things. And if you did, you got to figure out who told you that and stop it. Change your story. And but the other thing is you've got to have that soul family, that connection as you go through this, because if not, somebody along the way will convince you that, you know, you've lost it. You're, you know, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. It's bad news. And that you should just let him go. You know, after what he did to you, you still want to be around him. And you need somebody to say, when you do get karmic-y, you know, or social media and you're checking out their pages and you go, I can't believe she posted. You've got to have that backup to be able to say, okay, and that bothers why? What are you
away from the cell phone?
Right.
Right. But then it's like, you know, is this bringing up insecurity? Is this bringing up codependency? How are you seeing you in this? So to have those kind of things that can back you up, that's where, you know, friendship is a major thing. And then the last thing is you've got to have a friendship with the DM, because you are, you know, two parts in one. You are being able to do this telepathic on some of us can, you know, we can feel different things with each other, all this stuff. You've got to be a friend to them, because if not, you could really kind of turn that stuff against them, and it could be kind of icky.
Kind of icky.
Mm-hmm. Put it nicely. It's kind of icky.
It's gonna get a little icky. All right, April. What's happening?
Okay, so this is just the trippiest, coolest experience, right? So your two cards, epic.
Right.
I don't think I recorded it on this one, or I wasn't live with this, but I was talking to Kathy D when we were working some tech out, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, you know what I've been thinking about, Kathy D?" Because I'm introducing my son to experiences that I had that I loved and enjoyed. So I'm reading him poems from Where the Sidewalk Ends. And I was like, where the sidewalk ends is where the dream begins.
Right, you sure did say that.
I was like,
right.
Where the dream begins. So everything that you think and you know that you were doesn't actually have to be defined or come with you into this dream. How do you want to create? How do you want it to be? One of the best ways to get there is to go from that childlike place, that childlike curiosity, just finding out where, and within you brings you the most joy, brings you the most lightheartedness. That's why we work together as a playground. We want to bring you back to school when you was having a good time. No, we take you to school while letting you come back to that child, that inner light, and it's healing and cathartic, and it's okay to cry on the playground. It's okay to, rough it out. It's okay to play with others. And the friendship is so cool because the concept, I used to, this is the song that always makes me want friendship. You know, Shy? My friend. Oh. And oh man, of course I'm like putting myself under pressure, but that song is like one of my favorite songs in terms of the definition of how you really find a love, how you truly be in love.
Okay.
You know, as you do it with you're with a friend, you're with a being that you can be a lifelong partnership with. And what is true friendship? So I'm excited about the fact that it's friendship. And we're all friends. We're Care Bear steering you guys, giving you love. Can I put a little like energy clearing and healing for us? Let's do it together.
Yes.
So the first things first, we're gonna take some breaths together. I'll do this in 3 minutes or less. Okay.
No
Take some deep breaths together. We're gonna take 3 deep breaths. Just gonna feel ourselves in our body. Allow ourselves to have tightness where there's tightness and openness where there's openness. allow ourselves to center and allow ourselves to feel that which is our body and that was just around our body. We're going to surround ourselves with a little light, a little egg shaped like golden light around us. And within that egg, we are nurtured and supported in love. Our twin can feel their selves being nurtured and supported in love. I feel a heart opening up. I feel heat rising. I feel that third eye connection coming through. Allow yourself to be, allow yourself to rid anything that's blocking you, any place that you feel a tightness. I want you to take a deep breath in that space. And if there's more than one, just take a few breaths into those spaces. Welcome back to your body. Welcome back to this space. Welcome back to right now. Here we go. Come in, come in, come in, coming back, coming back. We are good. There we go. Look at you, ladies. Look at this love. This vibration we got going.
I have to move it all through the body.
Yeah, like that's how we're doing it right now. That's how we're loving each other right now. that was less than a minute of just
less than a minute. You getting professional with this. As we
we ain't got time to play around. I mean, unless you're dreaming on the playground.
Right.
Oh, that rhymes. Oh, I'm a rapper now. Oh. Let it go.
All right, yeah. That's we bringing out the inner child. So okay, I don't have.
I'll be over on the swings.
You'll be over in swings.
That's the funnest part, I think.
Okay. And so let me see. I'm trying to see how I can do that. So as we sign off, and this gave you a lot of keys for you all to work with, especially with the relationship. I call it relationship because they flag it again for relationships and different various types of the good, the bad, and the ugly, as we'll call it here. So we have April Williams. You see, I can show this. If you want to get in touch with her, you have life@gmail.com for her. If you want to get in touch with her, I'm not professional. Here we go. All right. And then we have for Miss Kathy D for her for behavior things, right? You have www.pineapplefishlifecoaching.com as well. And mine's I did not have time to, but I just ticker tape it down at the bottom. Please, Divine Souls 11. Click, like, and share, and subscribe to my channel. And you can go to divineuninsouls.co and for all that good stuff if you want to book a reading or book with these ladies as well. So as always, stay uplifted, stay motivated, stay ascended. Namaste, namago. Mwah. Love you.
Love you. Aloha.